Right, so why did you do a mixtape?
I think we just wanted to work on a sort of coherent project, start to finish.
Like
I think the decision just got made one day while we were
We
working
knew
on some stuff.
we wanted to put a lot of music out,
Yeah.
but just doing like singles or like an EP, it's a
Yeah.
bit boring. And we, like you said, like we wanted to be more of like a narrative, a
Yeah.
bit more like conceptual. So just doing like 4 tracks doesn't really.
Yeah, difficult to put that concept into something really small.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we knew that we wanted all the songs to work as individuals, but if you put them together in like a good sequence, it sort of told like a bigger story, sort of thing.
Was that challenging?
At first it sort of fell into place, I'd say, because like 2am was wrote a very long time ago. Do you know what I mean? And so was Big Sleep, and then Hibernate came. Like 3 of the songs came before we even realised what the story was that we were actually going for. It's only about halfway through in the writing that we started really writing to a brief.
I'd
almost.
even
Just sort
say
of
that
fell
like
into place.
even the concept for the whole thing came from what the songs were about. Like we realised that the songs were sort of had like similar themes,
Right.
and then decided that we could arrange it in a way to tell a certain story. But I think it only got difficult towards the end because we knew what
When it came to like Cry Baby and Morning, they were the last ones to be written, really.
Yeah.
And it's like once you've got all of this story and this structure all the way up to that point, you have to.
Yeah, I think we ended up getting
You have to
ourselves
carry on
into
with it, but I feel like we did probably the best conceptual stuff on those 2 songs.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Started to back ourselves into a bit of a corner towards the end, I think.
Yeah, it was difficult because we knew what the end goal was, so it was like frustrating trying to work to that in some senses, just because we knew that we could do this thing, but it was just getting it all to work together. It's hard. But yeah, like it was very important that it was like cinematic.
A lot of focus went into sort of world building as well.
Yeah.
Sort of like sound design to create a world for it all to exist in, and sort of the interludes and everything, creating an atmosphere. We had a big mood board up here with just different pictures of sort of what we'd want that world to look like, and then we built a lot of things around how it was supposed to feel like it looks almost.
The interludes kind of play into what we were saying before about having the time to work on something just us.
Making it have as much depth as possible in the sense of like world building is really important. Like a lot of the artists that we look up to for stuff like that do that sort of thing. And like, you know, because we won't really. Part of the idea of doing it as a mixtape was to get people to know who we were and to invest in us, because we realised that just playing shows isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
We wanted to like put something out that was a true reflection of what was going on in our heads, so that people could invest in it. And no one's going to do that if it's not compelling, if it doesn't have like that depth to it, and if it isn't relatable to a certain extent. So we really tried hard to create a whole cohesive piece that ran from start to finish, that was like, you know, listening to an album, but it was also like watching a film.
When we first came up with the idea for doing a mixtape as well, we were talking about the idea of structuring it almost like a play with 3 acts, a first act, a second act and a third act, and sort of the introduction, and then there's an interlude, and then you go into the sort of the bulk of where all of the things that, you know, sort of happen and all of the challenges that come with it, and then coming out of that going into the third act, which is the sort of resolution and the growth of the character, I suppose.